Are you manifesting a specific person or manifesting anything that you feel that your past is holding you back from? Or maybe you made a mistake and you regret it and you wish that you could just erase it from your existence and act like it never even happened. Well, what if I told you that you could do that and you really could erase it and make it never happen? I know that sounds cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for some of you, but you can, because nothing is fixed. Nothing, including time. We're going to talk about revision today. Hello, my fellow flawless, limitless, sexy, sassy, saucy HBICs. How are you on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? I hope you're all doing fabulous. I hope you're all choosing to be the versions of yourself that have exactly what you want. I hope that's what you're doing. Yes, I do. I hope you are. And if you're not, well, revise it right now and decide that you have been doing it all day. If you would like to work with me in any way, shape, or form, all that information is in the drop box below, including my 3 channel memberships, where I highly encourage you to join the VIP, the Advanced Manifestors. That's the group where we do what? If you've been on my channel a while, you know that's where we deep dive manifestation. We're reading all the books, all the lectures, all the things, anything that is talking about consciousness and manifesting our reality. That's the group that does it all. And that group gives you access to all my channel memberships, including the exclusive lives, which is a success story and tips and tricks only group, and the hot seat. That's where you can get into the hot seat and ask me anything you want. It does come with a trigger warning because anybody can ask whatever they want, including circumstances. So if you get triggered by other people's, hearing their stories, that ain't the group for you. You'd probably do really good in the Advanced Manifestors or exclusive lives. Just saying. The Advanced Manifestors are the only group that have access to all the previous recordings, to all 3 memberships, and all channel members, all. So it doesn't matter what group you're in, you do get 20% off coaching. Just letting you know. All right, I'm gonna stop selling myself. Let's talk revision. My first encounter with hearing anything about revision was obviously from Neville Goddard. And I do remember reading that if he could teach nothing else, he would teach revision. So I'm daring to say I think that was Neville Goddard's favorite technique. I really, really do. Because Neville taught us that the past and the present and the future are all now. All time is now. I do have another video going up about linear time, but we're going to touch on it just a little in today's video because we're talking about revision, which includes some time. Now, every single one of us is conditioned with linear time. We are all conditioned with it. And I know it can be a concept that is hard to accept, that you can just go back to a previous experience and erase it and pretend it didn't happen, but you can. So even to all my logical friends out there, it's okay if you haven't fully accepted that yet, but I still think you're going to get something out of this video. So don't switch off just yet. We have all been taught to see time, linear time, as a horizontal straight line, but time really doesn't work that way. And the beautiful thing that obviously spirituality, right? The land of the metaphysical talks about time as not being permanent or fixed. But science backs it up too. And I'm referring to Einstein's theory of relativity, meaning time is relative. It doesn't flow in a fixed, straight, horizontal line. And most importantly, it doesn't flow in one direction. It is not a one-way street like we've all been conditioned. Every single one of us has been conditioned to think the past is back there. It's something we don't have access to other than memories now. The present is today. And the future is tomorrow, and time moves that way, right? If the future's that way, time moves this way. And I'm sure when we talk about time, I'm sure you even have like a mental picture, a mental visual of a calendar in your mind somewhere, right? We got the visual of the clock itself, and then I'm sure you guys have a visual of a calendar and how the calendar year works. We all do, right? Mine, just like Ralphie in A Christmas Story, my quick little visual of my calendar does revolve around Christmas and Halloween, just so you know. So back to Einstein. Einstein's theory of relativity is that all things, all possibilities exist in space-time, which, in my opinion, sounds just like what Neville Goddard says regarding time, as in creation is finished. Everything all right now exists, and it's pertaining to like states of consciousness. So the version of you that is a millionaire, the version of you that's a billionaire, the version of you that's broke, all three of those exist right now. And those three different versions of you are waiting for you, the essence of who you are. And by essence, I mean your soul, your beingness, your awareness, your conscious awareness, whatever you believe is behind these eyeballs, to light it up. So let's say right now you identify as a middle class, right? The middle class version of you. The millionaire version of you is just sitting there. We call it in the universe, in the absolute, in the ether. We can call it variant space. It's for New Zealand. It's hovering in a sense, waiting for you to bring your focus, your attention, your awareness over to it, to shine your light and to light up that version of yourself. Well, you can also light up or change experiences that you technically have already lived. I know that sounds crazy because you're not getting into the DeLorean like Back to the Future and driving back there. No. You're just having a conscious thought. But you see, all thoughts are in a sense equal. What do I mean by that? I mean, even when you're thinking of a memory, the power, the ability to experience that memory is exactly the same level or power or possibility as a future experience. Now, for some of our very heavily logical people, maybe you're sarcastic like I am. And when I first heard of revision, I remember thinking, okay, so I'm just going to light up the memory of me being a 2-year-old. Am I going to do that? Huh? I get that, okay? I don't want you to get hung up on your logic any further than you probably already are hung up. So don't suck the fun out of this by thinking of yourself as a toddler. Let's make this fun and think about if there is a past memory, an experience. Let's say you're manifesting a specific person, you and your specific person had a terrible argument, and that's what caused the breakup, and that's what caused you to be in the place of having to currently manifest them back. You could go back to the exact moment of where you had the argument, and just like an eraser to a chalkboard, wipe it away and tell a new story. Decide something different happened. And what you would do from there is, whenever you think about the original, before it was erased, moment, you don't sit there anymore. You don't replay it anymore. You replay the new memory. And what is happening? You didn't technically go back to that moment and really erase it. You hopped to a timeline where the new memory really happened. Of course, I have my artistic skills at play today, and I drew you a visual. This is you. But this is the conscious awareness you, okay? Not your physical body you. conscious awareness. This is you. This line that goes up and down is a vertical line, if you didn't know that. Lines that go this way is horizontal. Let's say that you're in this reality, because all these other little vertical lines are realities, timelines. You're on this one right here. But you want to go to this one. This is the reality where you had the argument with your specific person. And this one is the reality where it never happened. When you start giving your attention, your focus, your awareness to that new story, you hop over to that one. You leave this one behind. So that original experience, it can still exist if you prefer it. You can hop on back to that timeline if you prefer it, but you don't have to. And you will change the experience for all parties involved. And why is that possible? Because we're all connected in consciousness. Your consciousness, in a sense, the conscious you, is always in the vertical. Always. That's where we could say consciousness, God, higher power, source energy, moonbeams, is always. And the ability to hop around is through your awareness, what you're focusing on. So if you have an experience that you would like to revise in your past, think of it as the more you replay that original experience, the original memory, the original argument, all you're doing is keeping yourself on that timeline. So if we want that experience to go away, we start giving the new timeline our focus, our awareness. Is this something that you must do every day? Do you have to replay the new memory all the time? No, you don't. However, anytime the original experience comes into your mind, you must consciously choose to not give it any more airtime. No more replaying the original moment, because all you're doing is what? Hopping on back to that timeline. You're multidimensional. Your awareness is Christ. So what you give airtime to is powerful. It's the word of God. It's the decision of God, because that's who you are. You don't believe in God, insert the word you do. So think of it as any time that you say yes to a thought, like, yes, that's true, you're deciding to be in the reality where that thought is true. If you had, let's say, an unfortunate childhood, and you would like to decide that you had an amazing childhood, you don't even really need to go into detail and fix or erase all the specific memories you might have about childhood that weren't favorable. You can simply say what I just said as an affirmation. I had an amazing childhood. I had a very loving childhood. You know, I was spoiled rotten in my childhood. Life was amazing. Life still is amazing. Simple affirmations like that are enough. But the same rules apply. Can't go back to shit memories and keep replaying them, because that's a different timeline now, isn't it? Revision works because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between memories and imagination or imagined thoughts, visuals. Doesn't know the difference. But at the same time, like I said it in the beginning of the video, your memories are no different than any new imaginative thought. They are the same. They are equal. Memory is not different. We've been conditioned to think it is, though. So we're kind of breaking free of that conditioned belief that you can't change the past. You're stuck with the past. Now, I know that there are some of you out there who have had, we'll say, unfavorable experiences in the past that you don't want to let go of. You think they have shaped who you are today. Number one, that's perfectly fine. There are infinite versions of you. And there is a version of you who had the same past that you had, that got shaped into the version you are today and is living his or her best life. Of course, any different combination of you exists. Everything exists now. Everything. Einstein would have said everything exists in space-time. Neville Goddard is saying that everything exists because creation is finished. God already handled it. So every possible answer to every possible question is already alive and well and waiting to be lit up by you from consciousness, heaven, space-time, variant space, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really matter to me. It's choice. That's the beauty of this, is you don't have to think the exact same way I do in order to experience your best life. You get to decide for yourself what is true. But I can tell you that if there is anything from your past that you wish you could let go of, you can do it right here, right now, because that memory, that previous experience exists right now. Right now. We are stuck with nothing. I often get questions about revising breakups. It is exactly how I explained on how to do it earlier in the video. It's, you think of the original moment where you guys broke up and you decide something different happened. Like you made up immediately, or you guys didn't even argue, you went out to dinner instead, and you're still together. Okay, that's good enough to just say that. Yep, that's good enough. So if you're a visualizer, you're visualizing how you two ended up going to dinner that night and are still together. Or you can affirm, we've always been together. You know, anything simple like that, or scripting it. It's just learning to not replay and marinate in the original event. It's having the discipline to not allow yourself to do that, because we're trying to make you accept the new memory, or the changed memory as your new truth. And that's all you're not convincing God or the universe that you actually believe this now. No, you're convincing yourself, and nothing but that. I hope that makes sense. When we're manifesting, we're not pleading to God to give us what we want. We're not pleading to the universe. We're convincing ourselves that that is a truth for us now, whatever that manifestation is. So if you're revising a breakup, this is about convincing yourself that it never happened and that you're still together with your person. And by convincing, I just mean everything that you could ever want is already yours right now in this exact moment. You just are at this moment not aware of it. You're aware of the not having it. You're only ever trying to convince your own self for anything. So a really, really important tip, that if you are going to revise a breakup, once you've changed the original memory, don't try to apply logic to, well, where is it then? If I revise the breakup, we're not instantly back together. So how did I revise anything if the revision didn't work yet? No. Those questions in of themselves are telling you you went right back to the old reality. You got to hop right on back. And try not to focus on what 3D reality or what your senses are currently telling you. It's no different than manifesting anything else, okay? It is no different. You will experience the unfolding that will make the new revised memory true for you. So it's absolutely no different. The way I see revision truly is, it's just manifesting, but manifesting in a sense backwards. That's all. So again, if linear time were true, I would say manifestation, when you're manifesting a relationship, is like manifesting forward, manifesting to the future. And revision is manifesting from the past. But that is because I am of the awareness that, to me, that seems the easiest way to kind of explain revision. It's not a special technique in of itself. It's really not. It's just manifesting a change from a lived past, because all lived pasts exist in the now. Everything, past, present, future, exists simultaneously, all at the same time. And your logical mind might have a hard time of accepting that. Or maybe you can't even conceive how that would make sense. I get it. Don't burn yourself out trying to make it make sense. Just look at it as you have that freedom to change anything you want. Another thing that's important, I've seen comments where, you know, someone was asking about revision and a comment came back with, you know, go back and apologize, you know, be the bigger person and go back and apologize, like literally, physically, go back and apologize. Listen, what you do in 3D in of itself really doesn't matter. What matters is who you are presently deciding you are. But be aware to not dump your personal morality onto anyone else. Because that comment, just go back and apologize, to a revision question, is you dumping your moral concept onto someone else. And I'm not trying to say that we should never apologize for anything. That's not what I mean by that. I mean, that was a judgment. So then you are a lesser person if you don't take the physical 3D action of apologizing. That's forgetting your God. That's forgetting that you're connected in consciousness and you can do all these physical actions really through here, through our awareness. Try not to lose sight of who you really are, you know, and put into perspective every single thing you believe about linear time, about the ability to change the past, about relationships, about every single subject you can think of. All you know, all the information that's stored in your brain right now in this moment is from conditioning. Everything is. And I think that in this community, hearing beliefs and conditioning sounds kind of negative because the focus is always on how we're trying to change beliefs or become a different version of ourselves that doesn't have the unfavorable belief anymore, blah, blah, blah. Everything we know about everything is because of conditioning. Everything is. Because who we are is unconditional love, flawless, limitless, pure, unadulterated consciousness. All the information we know about every single subject on this planet is a layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of conditioning, good or bad. And even the decision between good or bad comes from conditioning. So please be aware of that. And on this channel, we don't judge each other. At least I don't allow it. We're not going to judge anyone for the things they would like to revise or the things they're manifesting. Now, if you're trying to hurt someone or especially an animal, I will judge you. I will. That's me. That's where my flaw, I suppose, is I do judge that. We don't want to hurt anyone, especially innocent babies and innocent animals. We don't hurt. That's never the goal. I will judge you. But anyway, that's not what the video's about. You're stuck with nothing. When you're revising, to summarize, you're simply rewriting a previous experience, a memory. And you're utilizing the discipline to then not replay anymore the old story that you've just revised. You're not going to relive it anymore in your mind. You're going to instead, in that very moment, you're going to replay the new story, the new revised experience. And you're not going to go check in 3D reality to see if it worked yet. We're not going to do that. Don't you worry. If your focus is kept on who you want to be, and if it comes up the revised memory, don't you worry. Everything you're experiencing is a part of the, in a sense, moving things around to make the new revised memory a truth. So you can look at it as you left the old reality where that old shit happened, and you have hopped over to the reality where it never did. Do you see what I mean? Oh, and it's important to know, you're not going to necessarily perfectly forget the original memory. It might still be there, but it will become muddy. I'm telling you that from my personal experience. So you might be aware of the original circumstance, but the details of it are going to become muddy. Mark my words on that. And if any of you have ever experienced it and you can agree with me that they are muddy memories now, please leave it in the comments below, because I know that's what I've experienced. Revision works. Revision works because memories are no different than an imagined future event. No different. We've been conditioned to believe they are, based off of linear time, which we are aware that even science challenges. So, on that note, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm sorry, but this one wants my attention today. She wants an appearance in the group, so she's going to keep forcing herself in it. We have all been taught to see